How we doing? Lovely night out with the women's last night. Great stuff. Saw Mole at the door, and Mrs. Mole, which was fabulous. Okay, so Warrior Teacher, November, blah, usual. Have a look at this, right? This is from The Guardian. Look, The Guardian of all people. I mean, for the love of God, what is wrong with these people? And we've got here, it says, for the US elections 2024 by Melissa Hellman from Saturday. Take these attacks seriously. Journalist Imara Jones on the dangerous rise of anti-trans political ads. In her podcast, actually it's his. That's the first thing, Guardian. It's his podcast. There he is, look. His podcast, the Black Trans Media founder, unpacks the harmful wave of rhetoric and laws against US trans people. So this is coming from America. Oh, say, can you see? Imara Jones was filming a documentary on a road trip in California when she took a break to scroll the news. When he took a break to scroll the news. A story about state lawmakers in Idaho banning men from playing on female sports. They've got your transgender girls, the transgender child. Nope, Guardian, cut it out. Transgender girls, it's actually men, boys, from playing on female sports teams. Public schools caught his attention. See how they do it, see? It's like a form of gaslighting, isn't it? Caught his attention. It was the second pro-women legislation, not anti-trans. See how they do it? Second pro-women legislation that Jones had seen passed in 2020. Again, he turned to his producer and told her that they needed to look into this pro-women stuff. Dozens of similar bills were introduced in state houses throughout the nation soon after. A year later, Jones launched his podcast, The Pro-Women Hate Machine, a plot against equality. It's just surreal, isn't it? A plot against equality. Oh, screw off. To look into the religious extremists, conservative political groups and billionaires pushing a pro-women agenda. It's anti-trans, anti-trans agenda. See how insane this gets once you start to bring reality into the picture? That throbbing unit of a bloke, right, thinks this. So, since then, the urgency of it's not her work, it's his work. The urgency of his work has only grown. You bet. Republicans have spent more than $65 million on pro-women television ads in recent months, according to the New York Times, despite the negative impact that they have on men's safety and well-being, trans people's, and scant evidence of its effectiveness in swaying voters. Right? Despite the fact that they're saying it doesn't sway voters. God. And in 2023 and 2024, more than 500... Right, here we go. So now it's not about men anymore, not about trans men anymore. Not about trans women, which is men anymore. More than 500 anti-LGBTQ plus bills. So we've gone from the trans, now we're including everybody, because it only works, the lie only works if you include the law. So more than 500 were introduced each year. What you actually mean is that bills that are anti your lunacy were introduced. It's got nothing to do with lesbians and gays. But the knock-on effect it will affect us, just like it's affecting women. On his podcast, Jones, a black man, journalist, and founder of the platform Translash Media, investigates the anti-trans industry, the pro-women, pro-same-sex, pro-reality industry, with a conversational tone. Well, that makes a change from screaming in the faces of women on picket lines. All while centering the voices and experiences of people who think they're something they're not. Just see how nuts it is? It's nuts, right? People who think they're something they are not. I have a belief that when you see the same thing happening in different parts of the country at the same time, that's something to look into, Jones said. Really? I think that coincidence is always great as a fertile ground for journalism and for looking under the hood about what's going on. What's going on is that LARPing men and LARPing women and nut jobs and lunatics are attempting to change the way that we run the world, and we're having none of it. In the first episode of this year's season, Jones looks how the parliamentary group Proud Boys uses anti-trans rhetoric to stoke political upheaval. So they're looking at the American guys called the Proud Boys. And far-right militia groups have grown at unprecedented numbers in recent years, according to the Southern Poverty Law Centre, while political violence in general has increased. That's what we're seeing, hey? See there? You can see there in the box. Anti-trans issues work the best in really tight elections where the margins are really close. Anti-trans. Issues that are pro-same-sex, pro-reality and pro-women only really work best in the tight elections. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. For trans people, such rhetoric can lead to increased violence against them as well as suicidal ideation. Does it? I mean, I'm almost sure we've got no evidence of that, but I'm sure you'll tell me in the doobries, as you would normally do, as to whether or not there's any truth in what this individual is saying. A recent report from the LGBTQ plus advocacy group, the Bloody Trevor Project. I mean, just... That's those idiots. Here, I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's see if it's worked. I'll do it. Conversion therapy, conversion therapy, conversion therapy, conversion therapy, conversion therapy. If it's there, tell me on Twitter, because it'll pop up now. Conversion therapy is a practice of it. I don't know why they do it. I don't know how they get away with doing it either. Complain about the bloody advert. The Trevor Project found that suicide attempts among trans and non-binary youth. There are no trans youth and there are no non-binary youth. It's that simple. It's just confused kids. Increased up to 72% in states that enacted anti-trans laws. Right, okay. From what to what? I'd like to know. And besides which, emotional blackmail isn't going to work, mate. Quote, we know that trans people overall have been facing far more violence since there's been an uptick in pro-women rhetoric in terms of hate crimes. That's because hate crimes are ill-defined, shouldn't exist, and actually misgendering someone's not a hate crime. Misgendering, or correctly sexing someone, I should say. So we know that there is an impact on people's safety and well-being solely because of the public conversation. Do we? Right, so that's lived experience that given us there, is it? See how they hide it? That's what they do, these type of people. The biggest solution is to take these attacks seriously, Jones said. To understand the way in which they are being deployed by paramilitary violence, for political violence, to destabilise communities, to undermine democratic conversations politically, to take votes away. This is right, so go and have a look for yourself. It's in the Guardian. Oh, link in the doobers. This is utter hogwash of the First Order, as I'm sure you'll agree. But I'm waiting to hear what you make of it all. Right? These entitled men, right? Look at him. Entitled man. Cross-dressing man. Absolutely not. Come be a warrior teacher. Come on. Let's deal with these people. That's what I say. Let's get to grips with them and sort them out. I'll see you later. Have a great, great Sunday. Ooh, roast. Got to be done really, hasn't it? Bye-bye.